This land is your land, and this land is my land, from the California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
So transition is really about what a bottom-up response looks like to the challenging times that we face. It's about seeing community resilience as economic development, and it's about what you and I can do at this moment in history to future-proof the places where we live. What you have in transition, in effect, is a global network of people localising their economies. I mean, our local economy is like a bucket, a big leaky bucket full of holes. And every time we shop in the supermarket, 80% of what we spend pours out through the holes and is gone. We did a big study here in Totnes called the Economic Blueprint, where we mapped the local food economy here, and we find that every year this town spends something like £32 million on food, of which 24 million goes out through just 2 supermarkets. So from that we can start to say, well, if everybody could just shift to 10%, if we could somehow manage a 10% shift towards local food, that's £2.5 million in our local economy that otherwise wouldn't be here. That's really, really meaningful and important, particularly in these times. So, you know, I always say during the revolution will never be televised, but I think it's certainly going to be blogged and tweeted, and you know, that's really what seems to be happening around us, and it's fascinating to see, I think.
Organic tortilla wraps. It's all organic in here. This is the green store. This is like the second place in Totnes where you can exchange for pounds. Got this original one here and the new ones, but I just took every single Totnes pound they have in the store, which might suggest that they're not really that regularly used here, but so I'm going to use them. I'll give you 3 of those.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much. I don't think the Totnes Pound, personally for myself, I don't think the Totnes Pound project has been an incredibly successful project. So, you know, when Jonah says, oh, it hasn't really taken off in Stroud, it is in existence in Totnes, but I think it's still, it hasn't had the energy and the input that we would have needed.
So you're saying that you're traditional?
Exactly.
Right.
And I think people want to get back to 155 cents.
So you're saying tradition is something that should be upheld by the community?
Definitely.
And that's
don't you think so?
Well, I think there are lots of benefits to shopping locally. The first one is that you're going to keep the money that is made from your shopping in the local economy. It's not going to go straight to a big city somewhere, straight out of the community, or to an offshore account, which is more likely. So that's the first important thing. The second thing is that the goods that you buy locally are more likely to be produced locally. So if you go into a restaurant, they're more likely to get their food from a local source rather than a big central distribution with all the carbon miles and everything that entails. I think the other thing is that people in local businesses, local shops, tend to be local people, not someone brought in from outside to be management, but local people setting up their local business. They've got more of a commitment to the local community and more understanding about the local community, so they're not just there to take the maximum profit out of the community. So there are a number of reasons like that where your shopping locally is beneficial. It's not 100% beneficial because there are downsides too, obviously, but generally speaking it's a better thing to do for the economy and for the environment and for the community.
A lot of people in Totnes speak about doing things but don't do it. There are a lot of people who have tried to put practical things into action but have found that when it actually comes to doing it, the people have either no ability or no interest to learn to have an ability, and tend to want to do projects like cosmic healing instead of perhaps making a solar panel. And that 28 years of camps really proved Totnes attracts some people who might be described as slightly lost on life's highway. That's the best way I could put it. Not everybody, but a significant number.
So it seems like the Totnes pound is not like an attempt to create a separate economy. It's more just a way of Totnes to identify themselves. I mean, we've been speaking to a few of the shops here, and there is a massive sense of community here.
So, my name's Ben Brangwyn, and I'm part of Transition Town Totnes in two sort of capacities. One on the local currency, the Totnes Pound team, and I'm also Dr. Bike. And as Dr. Bike, I make sure that Totnes runs on 2 wheels rather than 4 as much as I can. And as you'll see from the bikes around, most of them are bikes that a bike shop would not fix because either they're too decrepit, or the person who was taking the bike in would be told, actually your bike isn't worth the amount of money that it will cost to repair it. So that means that they can't get to not ride around safely. So that's kind of where I come in. And even though I'm a level 3 advanced bike mechanic, most of the time I find myself working on the lower end of stuff, which is fine. And I do it for free, or for barter, or for time swap. Or for free if that's all anybody can afford. So, kind of contributing to the gift economy in Totnes, which globally appears to be the only economy that's growing right now. So I think we have to nurture it and encourage it. And so that's, in my little way, that's what I'm doing here.
I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. All around me a voice was sounding, this land was made for you and me.